Hey, people injured here, 2v2, Valderus Refinery, blue team. Bunch of chaos. First up is V, plays a plague champion, starts up range combat with this damage of a time bolter, can get melee weapons, some decent utility and support, can build turrets and repair, but is very slow. Alongside Random, also known as Kisuke, plays a chaos sorcerer, offensive and disruptive commander, lots of great manipulation and control abilities, begins in melee combat. Red team, Phoenix is a Commissar Lord, good offense and support fights in melee combat, begins with an energy shield as you see there. And rounding off the teams is Mr. Wavy Lines, also known as Kickin and Cheddar Bob, playing a Hive Tyrant, very durable commander, walks through cover and cannot be suppressed. Awesome offense, disruption and some support. Also begins with a basic synapse that will give suppression and damage resistance to the termagants and hormagaunts. You can tell when they're in range because of the green markings, aura type thing around their heads. Termagants do not finish the cap there, and Kickin is going to need to move up and engage and tie up these Chaos Space Marines. Hive Tyrant is so perfectly adapted to tying up Chaos Space Marines and Tactical Marines in first engagement. But at the moment he's going after those heretics, trying to wipe them out. It was a very, very late Doom Blast there from Kickin, but he does get those heretics away, and now the Hive Tyrant is there to endlessly tie up these Chaos Space Marines and make them kite away. Termagants backing away from the Chaos Sorcerer. We have some more heretics on the field for Kisuke. Looks like we're going to see double Chaos Space Marines from V, are we? No, maybe not. He's got 600 wreck now. Probably wants to get Havocs. No, he does go for a second Chaos Space Marine squad. Most likely into Havocs then, because Phoenix has double Sentinels. Commissar Lord going after these Chaos Space Marines and the heretics, forcing the heretics off. Chaos Space Marines also forced off. Double Sentinels can be such a pain in the ass very, very early. Surely we're going to see Havocs then from V. Termagants without upgrades. He's gone straight for Rending Talons here, Kickin, because of these double heretics. Rending Talons, Seismic Roar, such a fantastic tool to use versus heretics. I think it does 30 piercing damage when it goes off, and that's almost half of the hit points of the full heretics, and then you've got the damage over time and the 75 DPS melee weapon smacking on them, so really, really painful for heretics. Double CSM under Nurgle worship, pretty powerful in tier 1, especially if you get them behind cover, which they are not at the moment here. 455 500. Phoenix using the line of sight well, has his double guards on there to support the double sentinels. Some raptors on the way for Kisuke, and he's going to get blobbed up and stomped here. He should have taken that corner much wider. Lots of bad things can happen when you blob up on the corner of something. There's another stomp. These heretics in trouble, but they do get away. Nothing to really attack them in melee combat and punish them for retreating there. Chaos Space Marines do lose a model but get away, and these Guardsmen in a bit of trouble. The Commissar Lord's gone down incidentally. 422 500, it would have been incredibly useful in this engagement. And those Guardsmen are done for. The damage of a time from the Plague Champion helping to take them down, and Phoenix immediately replaces the Guardsmen, which he should do. And he's gone for Noise Marines, V. Pretty strange choice against double Sentinels, especially against the Commissar Lord, who can use his shield and then just run into them because the cacophony won't knock him down. So we'll see how that turns out. 405 500. Sorcerer, I should say, just about getting away. The Noise Marines will be very useful for forcing off the Guardsmen, but the double CSM can pretty much do that job, surely. Just force melee combat on them. Maybe try and bait that stomp up. It is really the Commissar Lord that puts a spanner into all of V's plans here, but he's on the ground at the moment. Double Sentinels moving to the center. These things are tier 1 vehicles, but they have heavy infantry armor, so you don't need anti-vehicle weapons to deal with them. They can decap points but cannot cap them, and Raptors being shot to pieces by the double Sentinels. Surprising amount of damage these guys put out when they're doubled up like this. Some Nurgle worship and the Chaos Space Marines taking the heavy cover. That pylon there is actually a heavy cover item or object. Nothing else for the Hive Tyrant. No, it doesn't need his charge especially. I think he's going to keep his Hive Tyrant hanged back, so when these Raptors jump in, they're going to have the surprise of rending talons. Hive Tyrant smacking them in the face. Random losing one of his Heretic squads, most likely due to that seismic roar, and he's got some more Chaos Space Marines. And there's some Tzeentch worship infiltrating these Chaos Space Marines, a really good worship that scales incredibly well. Noble worship perhaps not scaling quite as well. Very powerful in tier 1 when you combine it with cover and double CSM especially. You might see a big engagement here. Ravenous on the field for Kickin, starting off as a melee unit with that disruptive Burrow Strike. Raptors jumping in, and this is a very, very risky jump because double Sentinels are there, and those Ravenous there, and those Hormagaunts, and that Hive Tyrant. There is the Seismic Roar. Where's the Hive Tyrant going now though? He needs to get those Raptors out of there. There's a nice crippling poison on those Heretics. Raptors are going to go down. Ouch. Big, big loss there from Kisuke. Ravenous doing a really good job. Look how much XP they've got already. Heretics with their aspiring champion just about getting away. Hive Tyrant doing a good job pouring out damage with those rending talons. And there's the Noise Marines doing their thing. Look at the damage these guys put out on those Guardsmen, and forcing melee combat are the Chaos Space Marines. Noise Marines though are forced off. The Hive Tyrant goes down. Sorcerer's down also, but he's going to get revived by the Plague Champion. I don't think that's going to level him up, but we'll give him a bucket load of XP. There we go. Double CSM. We don't see Eternal War from V. I was expecting double Eternal War and Havocs. Noise Marines doing a reasonable job there in fact on those Guardsmen and stuff, forcing them off, and blue team retain the central victory point. He pulled it around V there because that was a really bad opening to that engagement with those Raptors, I should say. Again, absolutely decimated by the Tyranids in close combat. Heretics coming over to decap, needs to continue hitting this power. There we go. Might be able to take all these generators down. Chaos Space Marines being very cheeky from Kisuke, trying to decap this wreck point, but they get caught and are forced off. But it did distract Kickin momentarily, who now has toxin sacks on both of his termagants. Will we see melee Synapse Raveners in tier 2? Not something you see all that often. The Hive Tyrant of course can call in warriors in tier 2, which can save you some power, get them on the field and get their adrenal glands. That call in also reinforces nearby units, I think even allied units. Stubbornness on the way for the Commissar is back on his feet. 362, 395, a triple cap for the Chaos team. There's some Nurgle worship again. He's used it well, I think. Very defensive approach from V, but it's doing him well so far. Where are those Noise Marines? They are pushing on the west side and on capping duty. It looks like there's the Raveners running into Heretics. Raveners can go down very, very quickly. Just 300 hit points per model on a melee squad is not that great, especially since they're not heavy infantry, so piercing weapons doing full damage to those guys. And they go down, damage over time from the Plague Champion again, doing a great job helping him taking down retreating units. Massive engagement here, 362, 332, but a triple cap is retained by the blue team. LOL from Random, or Kisuke, whatever he's called, and he's lost his other Heretic squad. Just has double CSM now going into tier 2, and ouch, that's painful, because he's most likely gonna have, is he gonna replace his Heretics again? Not sure. I probably wouldn't, unless he wants a Blood Crusher up. I'd most likely go for Plague Marines because I love those guys, and there's double Sentinels are very, very annoying. Maybe just upgrade his CSM and wait to see what he sees. In fact, he's going straight for a Chaos Dreadnought, a bold move with double Sentinels around, because these things can both get missile launchers, and those crack missiles are pretty damn good. Ogren's on the field now as well from Phoenix, a heavy melee squad with super heavy infantry armor. Really powerful, can also disrupt very well. 362, 256. Commissar going for the Xenos Power Claw, straight up DPS weapon. Don't really want to tangle with this guy when he's got this thing equipped, especially with Stubbornness. Zone Thrope on the field for Kickin. The Dreadnought hits the field. That Dreadnought's in big trouble with a Zoanthrope snare as well. Is that thing going to survive? Here come the double CSM and the Plague Champion of V. No upgrades for his CSM yet. He's going into tier 2 with a hell of a lot of resources. Already has Plague Marines on the way as well. And still has a whole bunch of resources there. Maybe it's time to get double Mark of Zinch CSM. Yeah, looks like he's going for it. Those Ogrins, especially those Ogrins around, a really good choice. Mark of Zinch CSM do huge amounts of damage to Sentinels. And they will also do a huge amount of damage to those super heavy infantry Ogrins with that Inferno PvP damage. Bunch of dead Termagants, bunch of more dead Termagants. Hormagaunts have the Endless Swarm upgrade, taken up to 10 models. No sign of any specialized synapse though for Kickin. The Zoanthrope has a health regeneration synapse, but not close enough for it to have an effect at the moment. No brood nests up either from Kickin. I can see there's those double Mark of Zinch CSM. The Blastmaster is up, knocking down friendly units, but doesn't damage them. It just knocks them down. It will only damage them if they're caught in the ending blast. They both have Aspiring Champions as well, yes. So a huge amount of resources pumped into the CSM, but they become very, very dangerous at range. 362, 225. Red team chilling out on the east side. Might get a really big 2-on-2 engagement here. That Dreadnought with its default autocannon, good damage to all targets with a small area of effect. Looks like he's just sticking with that for now. Some more heretics for Kisuke and another Chaos Dreadnought. Seriously? If he got double Mark of Khorne, that would be incredibly fun to watch. Especially since he can warp them out with his Sorcerer. Well, he can warp one of them out. Do we have... no, we don't. Yes, we do. We have Eternal War on one of Kisuke's CSM. There's that Breath of Nurgle heal from the Plague Champion. Where are his Plague Marines? They are on decapping duty. Looks like blue team are going to be aggressive. That's a Zoanthrope there. He needs to keep his CSM split up, because that psychic PvP damage from the Zoanthrope is nothing to sniff at for Marines. Really, really hurts them. 362, 194. Blue team sitting pretty in mid. Look how much stuff they have here. Double Dreadnoughts, 4 Chaos Space Marine squads, Plague Marines, Blastmaster, Noise Marines, and the Dreadnought choosing the really, really bad time to start getting a mark there, but he has cancelled it, so this Dreadnought can act. Manticore Strike coming in from Phoenix. Wow. Bad news for Heretics, forcing off most of Kisuke's stuff, and this is a dead Dreadnought taking friendly fire there from the Blastmaster, which didn't help. Hormagaunts doing well, chasing down CSM, a terribly engaged with a blue team, this looks like. Zoanthrope and Venom Brood moving in. Double Termagants there also, and Warrior Brood called in, reinforcing all of those Termagants and getting to work with that 18 DPS power melee they have. But there's Touch of Nurgle Heretics, and he spotted it and runs the heck away and nicely cripples them with crippling poison. And so that was pretty much a wasted 150 red there. Forced off the Warriors, but didn't have a whole lot else. CSM taking shots from the Zoanthrope and back away. 362, 151. That was a pretty cool engagement for red team. Look at this though, heavy bolter turret up on the west side, covering this approach very, very well. But it can be flanked through here, and looks like that's what we're going to see. Venom Brood moving in to take shots at it. Or they're hunting down this Dreadnought, are they? And this is the second Dreadnought, isn't it? Really good DPS these guys put out. I don't think the Heretics are going to be able to out-repair it. No, down they go. Well, I'm not sure what he could have done there. Just keep that Dreadnought moving, obviously. Just keep it moving back into your allies' base here. Would have been the thing to do, but he loses it. Lots and lots of losses for Kisuke. Raptors, 2 Dreadnoughts down, 2 Heretic squads down, I believe. Painful. Phoenix, though. Wow. Look at that. Well done. V pushed his Plague Marines in and took out the Manticore, and both of those Sentinels went down. So it's just double Guardsmen and Ogrins now for Phoenix, so he's lost a hell of a lot as well. Xeno's Power Claw going to work on the Plague Marines. Where did those sentinels go down? Was it in that massive engagement there? I just wasn't paying attention. It might have been. I don't see their husks anywhere. In fact, here's one of these sentinel remains. So it most likely was in that big engagement, thanks to the Marquezine CSM, while I was looking at something else. 325, 151. Ogryn's in retreat. Get away with that. Model lost though. Zoanthrope taking a shot from the Blastmaster. Needs to back away. This thing does have a warp field shield that it can put up. Hive Tyrant's gone for the extended carapace, gives him that awesome charge. And we still have default warriors on the field. He's in tier 3, obviously saving his power for something big and scary, otherwise he would get these guys their adrenal glands, I think. 322, 137. Going to be another triple cap for blue team. Red team really not looking after their natural VP, are they? Sorcerer warping into that Zoanthrope to put pressure on. We have Mark of Pawn, Chaos Space Marines on the field for Kisuke. A good tool for the Chaos Sorcerer, I think, because he can walk them out of trouble. And that's Curse of Tzeentch on those Ogryns. But he needs to kill a model for it to go off, and he's not going to do that with his Sword of Flame. 322, 89. He's pushing into base here for some reason. What is he up to? And then full retreats. That was a big mistake. What's he doing? Now he needs to go all the way back to base. Should have just backed away. 322, 72. He's managed these double CSM very well here, V. Looks easy, just blobbed them up and worship him. But he's been really defensive with these heretics in this game, using them mainly for worship. And I think he's still blobbing these guys up a bit too much because of that Zoanthrope. Ogryns are going to be forced off. Are they? Warrior Brood jumping in full retreat here. We have double Ogryns for Phoenix. Awesome. Can he turn around and get anything in retreat? I don't think he can. Red team surely are going to retake mid here and get the 2-to-1 cap because they're taking a Natra as well. 322, 28. Look what resources. V is floating. He's not gone tier 3. Might just be an oversight, or he might sense or in fact know that his ally lost a bunch of stuff, so he wants to keep himself with options open in tier 2. Carnifex is on the field though, so it might be time for a las cannon or two for the blue chaos team. Carnifex without any upgrades at the moment. In fact, he's not even moving, the big fella. Straight back onto the natural VP though is Kisuke. He's been very aggressive on this east side, which has really put the pressure on in terms of VPs. Zoanthrope getting shots. Markov Pawn CSM happy to decap and are now going to try and get involved into a little bit of a brouhaha. Ogryns are going to take down the heretics. Yes, they are. And now we have a melee fight, special attacks on both sides. But the CSM not wanting to stay in that fight with the Hive Tyrant lurking in behind. If he got that seismic roar off there, that could have been a dead squad of Markov Pawn CSM. Sorcerer keeping the pressure on the Ogryns. And here comes the other Ogryn squad. Here's a bunker, most likely a medical bunker. I wonder if that regenerates the health of monstrous creatures, medical bunkers and stuff. We'll see. Down goes a Sorcerer, double Ogryns. He got a bit too cocky with them. And it looks like it doesn't. It's just affecting the infantry there. 317, 16. Trying to formation on a big blob of stuff. Is that going to one-shot a turret? It does. And he's not moving. He's not microing at all. Best thing to do against a Toronto formation is wait for the central spire to pop up and then move everything towards the center because all the other spires come around the edge there. 317, 16. Carnifex going after the Plague Champion. He's gone for a Plague Sword late game. This thing is set to be buffed in an upcoming update. Will now slightly increase the Plague Champion's health by 70 hit points. Marquezine's Chaos Dreadnought, but while it's getting the mark, it's unable to do anything, taking shots from the Thornback Carnifex and lost half of his hit points from 3 or 4 attacks there. 314, 16. Red team in the ascendancy, and can they hold on? They need to pressure this side though. Too risky, I think, to just try and win this with a 2-to-1 because blue team could drop a nuke or something and you're forced off. They're not in tier 3, but red team don't know that. They could drop a nuke, force them off and just quickly cap and win the game that way. Hive Tyrant moving in. taking ungodly amounts of damage from the double CSM with the Marco Zinch. There's a Basilisk Flare from the Commissar Lord. Hive Tyrant charging in. What level is this guy? It's level 3, so he can charge and use Seismic Roar. There's the Seismic Roar. But he does go down as well. Badly managed engagement there from that Hive Tyrant. Should have charged, used the Roar immediately and then run away, I think. He might have not had enough energy to do that, I'm not sure. I think he did. 280, 16.
Your forces
Plasma Gun Guardsmen fully upgraded with their Commissar leader. Another Manticore on the field for Phoenix. Needs to be careful not to get friendly fire on his double Ogrins. Maybe use the Storm Eagle Strike and then send the Ogrins in to mop up whatever's left. Now, oh, down goes the Zone Throw. Caught there by double CSM and doesn't last long. Caught way out of position. What was it doing over here? These towers granting a synapse to these Tyranids. They also grant a nice speed buff when they come out of the ground for a short duration. Good for helping your Tyranids push the advantage. But these things pushing against a turret, and the Plague Champion's there, and this sword is awesome. He's also got the Armor of Pestilence. You saw the Aura of Decay. Knock back, down go 2 Warrior Brood models immediately. What's he doing trying to push against the turret there? Because that sword is nothing to mess around with in melee combat. Ignores melee resistance. So incredibly powerful versus other melee squads like those warriors. 252, 12. Single cap for blue team, but red team are going to get the 2-to-1 back, are they? No, they're not. Carnifex can't cap up there. Need to send something to the natural. Kickin seems to be constantly losing his natural to ninja caps. Mark of Corn, Chaos Spaceman's got to level 3, but against double Ogrins it's not going to be easy. To keep those guys effective is going to need to be a bit more nuanced with them. Maybe try and flank them around in behind. Double Ogrins going after Plague Marines, and they are easily able to force them off. But here's another turret from V, catching those Ogrins by surprise with that turret. 251, 3 VPs remaining on the red team. But look at this, they're decapping red's blue's natural, I should say. The turret not actually covering the VP there. Is he even aware of this going on? V, I don't think he's paying attention to his VP here. He's not oh, he is moving his CSM now. Ogren's going to take this turret down. He's really not paying attention here. It's a triple cap for red. I think now he's wise to it. Ogren's taking down the turret. Heretics moving in. We might see Touch of Noble here to own these Ogrins. He really should have used it. Would have got a squad wipe, definitely. Might get one anyway. In fact, I think he will. Yeah, down go the Ogrins. Kept them in combat way too long. The Commissar Lord now in a bit of trouble because he's not around a bunch of allied units with the stubbornness to really help him out. 185-3, he's forced off and would get away. Double Carnifexes, are they both thorn back? This one doesn't actually have an upgrade. Now it's getting a thorn back. The other one is taking shots from Plague Marines that Kisuke has gone for. 165 and 3. Triple cap those still from red. This Carnifex is done for. One more shot from the Plague Marines, I think. Bang, down it goes. Kicking off mid. Special attack from the Hive trying to send things flying. In fact, that was a Seismic Roar, I believe. The Plague Champion goes down. No, he gets away. Level 5 is doing well. Hive Tyrant levels up to 4. Taking out Heretics who are just milling around. Now they're attacking him. Down goes that turret. This Carnifex doing huge amounts of splash damage per hit and takes out a Chaos Space Marine with a sync kill. Awesome stuff. 111-3, double cap for red. Blue team putting pressure on their natural though. Another Manticore for Phoenix. Where's the first one? He's pushed it up a little. That medical bunker is still doing its thing. Chaos Space Marines Mark of Corn on a level to 4 almost. Chaos Predator on the field now for Kisuke. 84-3. Look at the resources that V has. Surely just go tier 3, get your nuke at least. spent all of his resources on turrets, and those things take 5 pop as well, remember. 71-3. Gotta get something else on the field now though, surely. Got 81 pop, he's got 19 to spend, could easily get another squad of infantry up. And indeed a tank, I believe. 56-3. Are tanks 21 pop or 18? Not sure. More heretics for Kisuke. Plague Marines coming out of base with 3 models. Usually they're not fully reinforced because they keep their missile launcher. It will swap models. 32-3. It's very, very close. 2-to-1 cap. Might see a massive engagement in mid. We only have 1 Ogren squad now though for Phoenix. That's a Manticore strike. Manticore strikes do very, very little damage to defense structures such as turrets. So that was a waste. Carnifex pretty low on hit points. Manticore strike on the VP just to keep things off of it. Here comes that Marco Zinch. Chaos Predator getting way too close. What is he doing? He's going after the Carnifex. There's a Noxious Cloud. Ouch, painful stuff on all those Termagants. Now we'll move towards the Guardsmen. And Carnifex charging in, but that is now a Las turret. And that Las turret does ungodly amounts of damage. Trying a formation on the central VP right at the end here. Desperate stuff. Carnifex is in a sync kill, which means it can't die until it's out of it. One more shot from the turret. Nope, goes down anyway. Plague Champion now in amongst a bunch of Tyranids. Doing well, this Plague Champion, level 6. Blastmaster continues to get shots in. This thing's level 3. 7-1, 2-to-1 cap for blue team, and they take it. V floating. Look at the float. Over 1,000 rec, over 700 power. But he had a very solid army. Double level 4 Marco Zinch CSM, level 3 Plague Marines, level 3 Noise Marines. Wow. Nice to see the Las Cannon turret get a run out. Did a massive amount of damage to that Carnifex. And red team unable to push against Kisuke's weakness. Even though he had few units for large parts of the game, he kept the pressure up on the east side. He didn't just stay mid and try and just support his ally. He kept his own push going on this east side, and Kickin didn't seem to be wise to it most of the time. He lost a whole bunch of stuff at the end there. Awesome game, massive engagement to decide it. Thanks for watching guys, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.